Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you all coming in to check out what's going on in my life. I do have a pretty awesome life update that has happened. And I know I've been posting some things in the last few days leading up to the big reveal. But before I do that, I want to share with you all the story of actually what happened, because I do find it very, very important and want you all to know that part before I release it. So, 2 years ago, I was walking along the beach in Long Beach, California, and I was going through a pretty hard time at that point in my life. And I was just praying and I was worshiping and just talking to God and asking Him for direction on what to do. And then as I was worshiping, this song came into my heart and I started singing it. And it started bringing me a lot of peace. And as I was singing it, I was questioning who sang the song so I could look it up later. And right when I started questioning it, I heard the Lord speak to me and He said, "You do." And I'm like, "Me? What do you mean I sing it?" So I just kept walking and singing that song, and I came across this beautiful shade tree. And when I got up to the tree, the Lord spoke to me again and said, "Sit down under the tree, take out your notebook, and write down the lyrics." So I did exactly that. And within 1 minute, I had written an entire song. And I was really blown away because music has never been a part of my life. I love to sing like anybody else, but I've never thought that I had a good voice. I don't play musical instruments. I'm not a songwriter. Music has just never really been in my realm of experience. So this was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but it wasn't any work that I had to do. The Lord had just given it to me. It was like an airdrop of a song that just poof appeared in my spirit. And I could hear all the lyrics and I could hear the melody and even some of the music, but it was all in my head. And having no musical ability, I had no idea how to get it on paper or what to do from there. So for the next about a year, I just kind of kept it in my spirit. And anytime things started to get hard for me, I would just start hearing that song again. And the song is done to like a breathing mechanism of like therapeutic breathing, where you kind of breathe in, hold it, you breathe out. And it really was successful in bringing me out of some really upset moments of my life. And for a period of time, I was having panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And this song would come into my spirit and help bring me out of those. So I knew it was something special, but I thought it was just a gift from the Lord, a sweet kiss from Him for me. Well, as the years progressed, I started having people, strangers that I had never met before, walk up to me and tell me about the song that the Lord had given me in my heart. And I was really shocked because I don't know these people, they know nothing about me. And all of a sudden, they just knew about the song. So I realized, especially when it happened more than once, that God was speaking prophetically to me about the song. But I still wasn't sure exactly what to do, but they kept confirming this song was indeed from Him. And, as time goes on, I start questioning, was it from Him? Was it not? And this really brought peace to my spirit. And then I was attending some Christian conferences throughout the United States in different areas. And I had different prophetic groups that were praying over me. And a group started talking about the song the Lord had given me, knowing nothing about it. At one point, I was talking to a school about going to seminary. And as the woman asked if she could pray for me about school, as she was praying, she started talking about the song the Lord had given me. And my mind was just blown because all these people who I have never met or talked to knew about the song that was in my heart, and I had not shared it with anybody. So I started questioning what God wanted me to do with that song. Well, last October, I was at a Christian conference in Long Beach, California, and there was a panel of speakers. And on the panel was a man named Sean. And as Sean was speaking, the Lord spoke to me very clearly and said, "I want you to connect with Sean." So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, no problem. But it's the first day of a couple day conference. So it was lunch break right after that panel, and I was really hungry. So when the panel ended, I got up and started walking out the door to go to lunch. As I'm walking out the door, I hear my name called, Jenn. And I turn around and it's Sean. And he's chasing me out the door. And I'm like, "Hi." And he's like, "Hey, I'm Sean. We haven't met." And we're just talking. And then he's like, "I just feel like I'm supposed to connect with you." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is so the Lord." So him and I stepped aside and we just started chatting. And then all of a sudden, I felt the Holy Spirit all over my body. And I just immediately started telling Sean about this song. Well, it turns out Sean is actually a music producer in LA. And when he told me that, I got pretty intimidated because, whoa, I know nothing again about music. So he asked me questions like, well, does a song bring you peace? I said, yes. And he said, well, then chances are God wants to use that song to bring others peace and to encourage them. So I asked him what I should do, and he said, let's record it. And I'm like, record it? Whoa. So, really scary moment for me. And I'm like, well, let me pray about it. So, I took his email address, and that was that. And that was last October. Well, this past February, I went to another Christian conference in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and same thing happened. People started telling me about the song in my heart, and I'm like, you know what? God really wants to do something with a song. He's confirmed it over and over. I had multiple scriptures given to me. I had different songs that confirmed it. So I decided, you know what, God, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just going to fleece you and I'm going to put out the song to Sean and talk to him about it and see what he wants to do. So in May, just a couple months ago, I emailed Sean and reminded him who I was and asked him again about what I should do with the song. He immediately responded and he said, I want you to fly to LA like the next week in just a few days from then and come to our downtown studio in LA and record the song. And he has a music partner who is Joe Hogue and Sean Peterson. And they have a music production company and they have produced millions of records, over 15 million. And they have just done amazing things in all genres of music. And I couldn't believe here I am, a music nobody asking me to come there and record. So it was very scary for me and I was very intimidated. But I decided, you know what? God has spoken. I have to say yes. I have to be obedient. So I did that. So I flew out to LA, went to their downtown recording studio. It was a really crazy experience, very intimidating for me. He had, framed records all over his walls, and he had a Grammy sitting next to his computer. And he's won a Dove Award, which is like the Grammys for Christian music. And he's won an Emmy Award. And they just had all these amazing awards. And obviously, were very successful in the music business. And I was coming in knowing nothing. But they were wonderful coaches. And as we were talking, I told them like, hey, I have the lyrics, I have the melody, I have like the music in my head, but I don't know how to get that on paper. And he's like, well, that's where we come in. So I just started singing the song for them. And within seconds, Joe starts writing the piano part to the song before he even heard it one time through. And I was just blown away because it was just so supernaturally being composed with their giftings and what the Lord had given me. So we spent a few hours putting down the music to the song. And then the next day, he asked me to come back and record my vocals. And I was really scared because I've never really considered myself a singer, or at least a good one, anyways. And with a lot of prayer and just doing it afraid, anyways, the Lord anointed my voice and I was able to sing the song that He had given me. And I'm really excited to release it all to you tomorrow. I'm going to put it out there and I hope that you like it and I hope that you'll share it and just help spread the peace and just the story. The story is way more important than even the song to me. It's a faith booster. That's what it is. Whether you're Christian or not, I really hope that my story has encouraged you to seek faith because what God did for me is nothing that He can't do for somebody else. He is no respecter of persons. So He wants to do miracles in all of our lives. And this is just part of it. And one last part of the story that is just absolutely mind blowing is when we got the whole song done, the song got produced and it's now out on all of the mainstreaming and download platforms on iTunes and Amazon Music and Pandora and Spotify and YouTube and all of that. I got the bill for the song because, of course, they need to charge me for it. It's their business. And then I started getting nervous because I didn't have that kind of money to pay for the song. So I went right back into prayer and I just said, Lord, this has never been my will. I have never been a singer-songwriter. This is never something that I wanted to do. but this is something you asked me to do. So I said, you know what? If it is your will, it is your bill. And I literally like slid it across the table, like, here you go, Lord. Here you go, Daddy. And the next day, unbelievable thing happened. I had a random check deposited into my bank account from the IRS that was a tax return from a couple years prior that they had missed and they had just found all of a sudden. And it was for the exact same amount of what my bill was for the song, and it had a 7 on the end. Like, and the number 7 is the number of completion. So it was just so incredibly blessed. And the Lord paid for the whole song. And now I get to give it all to you as a gift from Him. And I hope that it brings you encouragement. I hope that it helps bring you peace. And I hope that it brings you in just more faith. So I'll be releasing that tomorrow. And I thank you all for listening. And I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Have a great day.